So it includes two sets of footprints. One set are the dinosaur footprints. They're inspired by footprints from Dinosaur State Park in Connecticut, my home state. And then the second are a trackway of human footprints inspired by prints at White Sands National Park. And then there's the text, "We are one." And this piece is meant to show the unity between humans and all other living things, past and present, and how important it is to consider our connection to the earth.
All right, well, I chose to do a ladybug because that's my mother's favorite bug, and she has a ladybug everything. And then each side has 3 dots because there's 3 siblings with all of us. And then I have this, which is kind of like a measuring tape because, you know, we're always kind of trying to measure where we're at in life, where we want to go, where we've been. And then all these circles or orbs, that's something that I've put in a lot of my artwork throughout the years, but also I think of it like, you know, the planets or droplets of water, all these things that kind of connect us. I really like the spiral, and there's a school of thought thinking that, you know, the collective human subconscious, that this symbol is part of that spiral going outwards. There's a name for it that's escaping me, but that's found in cultures all around the world, that to our knowledge didn't necessarily interact, and that most of the time that spiral is reminiscent of the sun. And then this is a little bit snake-like just because snakes are fun and it's nice to have a slithering thing going around.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Like the landscape you can see is a picture I took of the buttes near, I don't remember where, but here in North Dakota. The little symbol right there is from books that I've read while here. This is a picture of a fossil that I found, a snake that I heard. This is one that I'm actually keeping. And yeah, I like suns and stars, so I did this like sun symbol that I draw a lot. And yeah, I added some feathers because I like birds, basically.
So, a few years ago, my aunt got diagnosed with cancer. It started out as breast cancer, and then for 3 years, it slowly spread to her kidneys and her liver. Everything else in her body started to shut down, and she did end up passing away a few years ago. So that's what the cancer kind of like thing is there. And then the bird is for the past 5 years. We have had 3 suicides in the school, and when I was in the 8th grade was the first one, and I was in the room for it. And then I think during, I'd say, sophomore year, we had another guy do it at home. And then just this year, I had a friend of mine, not a very close friend, but still a friend. He also went home during lunch, during school, and took his life at his house. So it's just a lot of resembling for a lot of people.
Thank you for sharing.
Mm-hmm.
This is the western meadowlark, which is the state bird of North Dakota, which is why I decided to represent it.
I am currently attending the Sternberger Science Camp summer camp, and because of this, I am not from North Dakota itself. I am from Northern California, specifically Humboldt County, and that area has a lot of redwoods, as you can see with the central image of the tile, and also often representing Humboldt is a banana slug, which is at the lower left corner. I just wanted to use this because I think the Sternberg science camps, like coming to North Dakota with everyone from these different areas all across the country coming to one central location to focus on the betterment of science, is just something so cool that we just have today. And we're also looking back into the past while doing it, and I think that's just a wonderful combination of modernity and the past. But also, North Dakota has a fossil record of plants related to the redwood trees in Humboldt. The cone in the lower right is a metasequoia cone, which you find here often.
Amazing.
So I'm an artist from Kansas City, and I love Kansas City, so I wanted to honor it, and I did the Western Auto sign in downtown.
So mine is roughly supposed to be one of the buttes from the Badlands, and I put myself, my husband, and my pop up on top, and that's us here now. And these are, we came here for my job, my career. These are the things that kind of got me to where I am, at least in fossil form. And then this line is called an unconformity. In geology, that represents a big change, and it's me not knowing what comes next.
I drew the mountains where I'm from. This is the Blue Ridge Mountains in North Carolina. And I really wanted to make like the sun a big thing, and then I drew a little fossil because I thought that was cute. And then I wrote the town I'm from on both sides of it.
Troglodyte?
Yeah, troglodyte, yeah. I made it because it was like the first invertebrate that I was really interested in, and it kind of what got me into paleogeology, so.
So the main centerpiece here is the Amontosaurus, which is the dinosaur that we've been digging up for the past few days for the PTRM, which their logo is there. But the Amontosaurus specifically is actually the main reason I'm here. It's my favorite dinosaur and the reason I chose to help with this camp.
I'm a big fan of natural landscapes, so when I first came to North Dakota, I was blown away by all the hills, the mountains, and the clouds, and the whole appearance of all of it. And so I decided to base my my artwork on those things that I saw.
I was a kid, maybe fourth grade-ish. I decided I wanted to have a signature smiley face, and so I drew out all of the different ways I could think of to do eyes, and all the different ways I could think of to do a nose and a mouth, and then tried a bunch of combinations until I found the one that I thought was the coolest or the most unique. And so when I was a kid, I used to draw this smiley face all over the place.
I love that.
And I thought of it because of the clay shape.
The story behind this is it's a champtosaur vertebrae, which is it's just like a crocodilian, but it's not. It's actually like a reptile, like a lizard. And I found two of their vertebrae on 2 different days here. And I drew that, and then I just added some pattern, and I just kept on going.
I love it.
So we go out and dig echinacea, and then I sometimes use the seeds, or sometimes I use the roots, and I always leave some of where I dig, because there was a Native American plant person, herbologist or whatever, that came. The museum brought her in twice, and once she talked about medical plants that grew wild in North Dakota, and once she talked about edibles, and she talked about echinacea. And it's gotten so every year I go out and pick plantain, because that's one of my favorite salves to make, because it's so wonderful with burns, if you ever get burned.
Why don't you come to my
and
yard?
People have used it for bug bites. And sometimes I do the wild nettle, but I'm not as in love with those as I am the plantain, because I always swell up and get welts, and then of course I feel better in my knees when you quit beating them with the wild nettles. And I didn't know this, I just carry it in my purse, so you can give it to whoever you want.
This
And
the
if you get
plantain salt?
this is the plantain, and I have a list of ingredients of what's in it, and use it thickly. Use a lot of it if you get burned.
Tell me about why you made this tile.
Because I always see a dove when I'm visiting my grandma in the nursing home.
So I grew up in rural North Dakota, and then I spent some years away in the city. And so these are kind of some of my favorite things that I missed. The plants so that is a wheat stalk. That's supposed to be a sunflower. It's kind of a loose interpretation. And purple coneflowers. And the sky with the sun, the bright sun, but then sometimes it's really cloudy. And the bees and the honey I really missed. I missed the fields, the grass, and maybe wheat and open spaces. So
I grew up on a farm in this part of the country, and this county actually, where we're sitting now. And this is one of my favorite things as far as a picture of North Dakota. You know, this is ranch country more than farm country, really. And this is field of hay bales, you know, the big round ones, if you've seen it. And at we've taken family pictures out there, even because of a certain time of year when they're really golden, and then the sky is blue and there's just a few clouds. It's just one of the most beautiful sights, I think, here.
Corn. Yeah. All right, so this is a design that I found on a brown bottle that came out of a burnt building close to our farm in North Dakota. And I've used it before in a print that I've done, and I just really like the design.
Tell me about
Okay,
this tile.
so my grandfather was sheriff, and after 2 terms he couldn't run again. So my grandmother ran in 1948, and she was the first elected female sheriff in the state of North Dakota, as far as I can figure out. And then he ran after, he was her deputy, and then he ran later. But it was hard to imagine my portly 65-year-old grandmother being a sheriff and putting somebody in jail.
This is my daughter Emily, who is the paleontologist. She started liking dinosaurs when she was like 4 or something. And then this is a dinosaur trackway, no specific place. And then these are the mountains. My youngest daughter is in Colorado, and she's an astrophysicist, graduate school. And so that's her with the telescope, with the Big Dipper.
I love that.
And then this is just sort of this is a bird. My wife loves birds, so I had to include her there too.
I love that.
So thank you.
So I drew a feather because I like collecting them. I have a whole bag and stuff of owl feathers and hawk feathers. And if I can find the little ones from colorful ones, I keep those.
Okay, tell me about your tile, please.
Yeah, so I've been fencing since 2011, and starting in August, we're going to have the North Dakota Fencing Division for the first time. So after over a decade of fencing, we're actually going to be officially part of USA Fencing. And part of our proposal is building up grassroots programs with that and sending people to Junior Olympics and Summer Nationals with our own qualifiers.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So the tile is representative of my family's heritage and stuff, and their legacy and stuff. So my great-grandparents homesteaded in Odessa Township, which is in Hettinger County, which is in Region 8, which, you know, that's what the sculpture is for and stuff. And here the land that I did here and stuff, the 3 lines for the land, that represents my great-grandparents, my grandparents, my mom and dad. And this one over here is my brother. My brother is the 4th generation farmer on our family farm. And the wheat heads represent my 5 grandkids. So we've got Kaya and Kelvin, Ella, Al, and Nadia. Those are my 5 grandkids there. So, and then MK and my immediate family, all this, our first name starts with M, And then we've, you know, of course, our last name starts with K and stuff, so I put the MK on there too.
I love it. Thank you.
So the thing that makes me think of North Dakota the most was canning pickles from the garden with my grandma. And so when I lived in California and missed home, I always wanted her pickles. And we tried to make them and they were always terrible. And then when I moved back to North Dakota, we still tried to make them and they were still terrible. And I still can't make her pickles, but I paint pickles in honor of her pickles. And now I got to carve some pickles in honor of her pickles because I still can't replicate her pickles.